And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of The Mind of James. It is a solo episode this weekend, and we are covering a very good topic. This topic kind of hit me about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. I was just uh, working on editing clips for the podcast and streaming. It hit me all of a sudden. Like, I don't seek validation anymore from anyone. Unless it's from God or myself, I don't seek validation anymore. I don't need to. But wait a minute. Let me turn on the let's get a new color here. Red, eh, green. We'll do green for go cuz we're going tonight. Um yeah, I don't seek validation anymore. I'm not looking for the validation from anybody anymore, and it's actually quite nice. It's liberating, it's freeing. Like, I don't really have to care about what people think anymore, and I like that. So I had to do a topic episode. I When I first did this podcast, I just did them on topics just to get back into rhythm, and now I am wanting to do more of them, or whenever they help me so I can help you. So I did some notes here on what I want to talk about, and so let's get into it. So, what is validation? Okay, validation is recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are validated or worthwhile. That means to me that if I'm doing something for someone, I want them to recognize what I did, or if I say if I say some feelings to someone on how I'm feeling and they recognize them or whatnot, and if they don't, what does that do? You know what I mean? But if you get to the point of where you don't have to tell your feelings to anyone and you don't have to go to them for validation, all the better. It is all the better because that means you are in control of you now. You know, like does that make sense? You not seeking validation from people and you validating yourself means you hold the control now. That's exactly what that means to me. Um, I think a lot of people struggle with it. They just don't know it. They and for the longest time since I was a kid, up until about 2.5 weeks ago, let's just say, let's just ballpark it there. So badly that I want to be validated for the person I am, and the good work that I do, and the helpfulness that I do, and being helpful and being there for people. And now it's like, you know what? I just do it to feel good and for me, and I do it because I want to do it. And if people don't like it, then that's fine. I'm okay with that. I am validating myself enough to say I'm good with me doing it for me. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about that. And that's, you know, whether I get on this podcast and cover a topic that you feel you needed to hear, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel a lot better that I know that I helped somebody. Um, but at the end of the day, I do this because I want to do this and I enjoy doing this. So that's a very validating reason as to why I do this. Um, and I hope that whoever hears this goes, I get it. I don't do this for the gold. I do it for the glory. You know what I mean? Um, so I mean, for and even people I've dated too, I wanted them to validate me, and I've used things to validate me too. Nice cars, a nice motorcycle, nice apartment. I thought these were all validating things, and I still felt miserable when I had them. So it doesn't matter. If you get the validation from inside, that's where it comes from. That's where the control comes back. So why do people? Here's the next one. Why do people seek validation? Now these questions I wrote down just came right off the tip of my head. There was no rhyme or reason to these questions. So why do people seek validation? To feel accepted, understood, and valued by others. This need can stem from a fear of rejection, low self-esteem, or a desire to belong. Essentially, we seek validation because we want to feel that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are normal and shared by others. It goes back to doing things for other people. For the longest time when I did things for other people, I wanted them to validate it, and I wanted them to acknowledge that I did it. You know what I mean? Like for the longest time, a thank you wasn't good enough. But now, no thank you is good enough for me. If I help someone change a flat tire, and they just go, okay, good. It lets me know that you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Or if someone doesn't say thank you for opening the door or holding the door for them or changing a tire or helping them with groceries or anything that you went out of your way to do to help them, and they just keep on walking by, that's a low life piece of shit right there. And that's the kind of person you don't need validation from, and you'll never get it. You'll never get it. So beware of those people. Every time I hold the door for someone and they'll say thank you, I'm just like, okay, all right. I see you again. I ain't holding that door. I ain't holding that door. So, and learn some fucking manners. When someone does something for you, learn some fucking manners and say thank you. Next question. We're just going to kind of steamroll these things. How does it feel to have validation not given? Now, this can be a very, this could be a good one. Oh, by the way, Yingling, cold beer. Haven't had one in a long time. Still tastes good. Still tastes like a river of gold. Sponsor the podcast. But how does it feel to have validation not given? It can feel detrimenting to some people, especially when that's all they want. It would be feeling unheard and unseen, self-doubt and insecurity, emotional distress, relationship strain, especially in relationships, man. In relationships, when I was younger, in your 20s, I think relationships, you're just there to bang it out. You know what I mean? You don't really understand what a true relationship is at that point. Unless you're two people going through some shit, and the only thing you got is you and that person going through that shit, there you go. I can live with that. But me being older, and like my last relationship that I had, I was always going, I appreciate you. I thank you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you doing this. To let them know that I really feel that way about them. That I really feel that way, that they went out of their way to help me. You know what I mean? A few simple, kind words like that in a relationship will turn from a 180 to a 90. You know what I mean? I got a velo in. Wild berry tastes good. So if you see me doing this, because I'm trying to move it, there we go. Um, so if you're in a relationship, just make sure you take the extra time to go, I appreciate you doing this. I just want you to know that I appreciate it. Thank you. You didn't have to go out of your way like that for me, but you did. And I thank you. Um, Potential impact on mental health. Yeah, this one, the mental health thing, when you get to the point of I don't need anyone's validation, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Um, it really will. It hurt me when I was seeking validation from everything and everyone. But like I said earlier, now that I am not, it is so freeing. It is so freeing to just, I don't give a shit. I'm here for me. You know what I mean? I'm here for me. Like that's where I'm at in life. I'm here for me. And if I meet some good people along the way, like in streaming right now, God, what a community we're building. And I appreciate them 100%. And I thank them and I love them all the way through. They're the best, gaming relationships. People you meet through gaming are some of the best friendships you'll ever have. And that is that is 100% true, man. I I got a whole crew going on, and I consider them best friends. Um, so we're going to move on to the next question. What can happen over a period of time that validation is not given? And here we go. When you go through, um, when you're going through life and you're trying to seek validation and you're just not getting it over years, here's what can happen. And this kind of hit home with me. Um, this section really hit home with me on nuts or what can happen over a period of time. The first one, difficulty forming and maintaining healthy relationships. People who feel invalidated may find it hard to connect with others or trust their relationships. Right now, um, and right now, me personally, I can fit in everywhere. I just don't belong anywhere. Uh, so forming a healthy friendship can be very tough for me because I don't want to open up. I just I've had enough. You go through enough of opening up to people and trying to help people with your life stories and shit. You just don't want to do it anymore. You just don't. Like, why even do it? Um, um, so you just get to that point of, why even form the friendship if you think it's gonna fail in the first place? You know. But on the other side of that coin, if you don't do it, how you gonna know? You know what I mean? Um, so that's how would I know that a friendship's not gonna work if I don't try? That's a very good that's a very good question I can ask myself right now, and I don't have the answer, but eventually I will for you. Um, Social isolation, feeling misunderstood and unsupported can lead to withdrawal and social isolation. This specific one, social isolation, you get to the point of I don't need to be out in the world. I really don't. I don't need to be out in the world anymore. I don't want to be out in the world anymore. I just kind of I'm good with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? The streaming, the podcast, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? That is my form of social interaction. Is streaming and is playing with my friends. on Sea of Thieves or whatever video game we do. You know what I mean? Um, so that's, you know, you can have many forms of interaction, even if it's like, I'll say it, even if it's like, okay, meeting someone over the internet, you're still interacting with people. Um, and do not, if someone tells you that that is not a form of interaction, they're lying to you. That is, it's just not their form of interaction. So if you enjoy talking to people without a face-to-face interaction, perfectly fine. I have no problem with it. You're interacting with someone. You're making friends somewhere. So sail on, do your thing. Increased conflict. Invalidation within relationships can create conflict and resentment. I've had this happen to me multiple times. You know how many times I've done things for the girls I've dated, and not just. I'll give you one good example. A really good example. Uh, my old friend and I were moving cars for a girl I was dating. It was a pain. First, we had to get a dolly. Well, first we got a dolly. Then that didn't work. So I went paid money for a U-Haul trailer to get him up on the trailer. That was a nightmare. And the entire time, the entire time we were doing this, we finally got done. Everything was done. We were going to see her grandmother, and never got a thank you. Never got a thank you. I had to bring it up later to say, look, I didn't get a thank you for that. You know what I mean? And we didn't even take any of the money for junk in those cars. We gave it all to her. Yeah. So I mean, like, don't if you do something for someone and they don't thank you for it, especially in a relationship, bring it up then. Bring it up then. And if they're like, well, I'm just not comfortable with doing it, get comfortable. Because that relationship ain't going to last long. And it didn't. It didn't last long. It doesn't. So now, later on in life, thank you for doing that. Thank you for whatever you do. So, and just make sure to say thank you and I appreciate you to your significant other. Just even if they give you a tiny back scratch, thank you and appreciate you. You want a foot rub? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that easy. And I get it. I get it. You're dog tired. You came home from work. Your boss chewed you out. You hate your job. Yada, 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 yada. It takes 30 seconds. Even if it's one of those, thank you. Even if it's one of those. You know what I mean? But here's the difference. If they just want to hear the words, then there's a problem there with them. You know what I mean? When I say it to people, I wholeheartedly mean it. I appreciate you. Thank you. These aren't just words coming from my mouth. It's words with feelings behind it. So make sure you have those, if you say those words, have feelings behind it. Next question. How do you begin to learn how to validate yourself? This is a big one that I'm still going through. My ear itches, excuse me. I'm not used to having earbuds in my ears while I'm podcasting. This is new for me. Which I do. These are apparently gaming headsets, but the mic doesn't work really well on them. Let me get another sip of beer here. So, how do you begin to learn how to validate yourself? Well, that starts with taking a good look at yourself in the mirror. And a lot of people can't do that because they don't want to accept that the piece of shit that they really are. It's like every time you see the cross with Jesus hanging on it, put yourself on it. That's what I do. That's exactly what I do. Put myself on that cross. Because he died for me, and I should be hanging on that cross. So that's where I start. I start with looking at myself and what am I the problem? You know what I mean? What am I doing wrong? Where's my mindset at? You know what I'm saying? The first one, acknowledge and accept your feelings. It is okay for you to have feelings. Perfectly fine with it. Even if the world says we don't care about your feelings, you don't have to. I'm here to make money. That's it. I'll deal with my feelings. I know that you don't care about my feelings. I care about my feelings. That's how you should look at that. Because that's how I look at it now. I used to think that the world was, feeling, let's just say I thought the world was very accepting of feelings and wanting to help you along with that and help you grow as a person. But it doesn't. It only cares about one thing, two things actually, spinning and money. So now I look at, okay, I have feelings. I have a right to have feelings, and I have a right to express my feelings in any which way I feel necessary. As long as I'm not out there hurting somebody or hurting myself, that's it. That is it. Um, Identify and celebrate your strengths. So, I would say write down a list of on a piece of paper. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? You know, what are your weaknesses? Um, First, start patting yourself on the back for all the strengths you got. Set little goals for yourself and achieve them. You know what I mean? I'm going to walk 3 flights of stairs every day for 6 weeks. After the 6 weeks you do that, pat yourself on the back. You know what I mean? Start with little goals like that. And the weaknesses part, it is good to identify your weakness because every weakness that you work on becomes a strength. Um, yeah, that's that. I couldn't have said that any better. So moving on. Build self-reliance. Building self-reliance. Man, how do you want to do that? How do you want to do that? How do you want to build self-reliance? Do you want to be the I can do anything myself? I don't need anybody in my life to help me. That only gets you so far. That will only get you so far. So, but starting out, like, okay, you want to rearrange your living room, do it yourself. You want to paint a wall, do it yourself. Clean your car, um, mow the grass. Do something yourself to where you can go, I did that myself. You know what I mean? Here's a big one. Here's a real big one. Go to a restaurant and eat by yourself. Two big ones. Go to the movie theaters. Go see a movie by yourself. That'll teach you some self-fucking-reliance. That's an ultimate game changer. When you can go do those two things by yourself, man, that changes the world for you. It sure does. I love eating by myself now. I'll go to a restaurant and just be like, this is my table. Nobody's here bothering me. This is my table. So, go do those two things by yourself. You'll see how much your world is going to change when you realize that you can do that shit by yourself. And they're big steps. For a lot of people, they're big steps. Very big steps. Because, like, if I go to Waffle House in the morning, I would like people to go. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. I would like people to go. But if they're not going to go, fuck them. I'll go by myself. I will go by myself. Let's see. This is my... How's that? Yep, that sounds a little better. I got, I love going to Waffle House by myself. I love talking to waitresses. They're so nice. So I mean, just because you go by yourself doesn't mean you're going to be by yourself. Somebody will talk to you. Somebody will talk to you. Focus on personal growth. Personal growth is a big thing. That means, what am I doing wrong that's hurting me, and how do I fix it? For big thing for me was diet and exercise. That was a very big thing for me. And make sure that you are taking care of your body and your mind. Read books or audiobooks. Just consume knowledge. You consume knowledge, you're going to be one step ahead of the game. You're going to be one step ahead of 80% of the people in the world. So, and there are some books on here that we will cover, which personally I haven't read. Google just popped them up for me. I'm into books right now that are like how to think faster, or how to think better in ways that I can better myself, career-wise, financially-wise, and that stuff. Like Manifestations, the Julius Caesar Journal, The Art of War, the 48 Laws of Power, and what was the fucking last one? Think and Grow Rich. So those are the books I like to read. Normalize your behavior. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a sniveling little weasel. Be nice. Be kind until someone gives you a reason not to. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful of your thoughts and behaviors. Same thing as that. Same thing as the second one, or the one I just said. Don't be a dickhead. Be kind and compassionate. Here are a few books that Google has brought up, and I'll probably read a few of these, because they actually, I have read one of them, which is the courage to be disliked. That's a good one to read. The Courage to Be Disliked. That book will give you the ability to walk in a room and just say fuck everybody but me. So that's a good one. But there are books what are some books to read to help with validation? And I'm just going to rattle off some titles. The Four Agreements. The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. I'll probably read that one. The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. The Courage to Be Disliked. You Are a Badass. Self-Compassion. Stop Checking Your Likes. And Fuck Validation. I will put all these books in the show description if you guys want them. But definitely get into some reading material about it. Hang on, the Discord's blowing up here. Yeah, so if people are on if people are TDMing on Sea of Thieves, I don't need to be there, because they got it. I did a long stream with Forsaken Empire today, which she is going to be on the podcast at some point. Um, she's been a real helpful person when it comes to learning how to stream and all this kind of stuff. But definitely get into some reading material when it comes to validation and it comes to self-help. I don't want to say self-help because it's kind of Um, get in some reading material about bettering yourself. And I'll tell you the interesting thing about the 48 laws of power. The 48th law of power is be formless. So it completely just contradicts the first 47. Why is everybody's going nuts here? But definitely, read as much as you can, learn as much as you can, absorb as much as you can, and you'll be a better person within 6 months to a year. You know what I mean? You'll start seeing things for really what they are, and learning how to adapt to the room. I hope this helped, or I hope this helps. I know that this topic of validation and realizing I don't need validation from people anymore has really helped me, and I'm trying to now harness that power and put it into play. Once you understand the beast, you can control the beast and use the beast. So I want to thank you for joining me for another wonderful episode of The Mind of James. Do go check out the Twitch. We're making a lot of progress over there, which is twitch.tv/on the level 162. The podcast is at Mind of JPA on YouTube. We're just doing a lot of good things here in Cincinnati. So, I love all of you. Stay safe out there. Be kind to your neighbor. The next person you meet, just be kind to them, unless they're a complete asshole, and then just ignore them. But remember to fear God, keep His commandments, and I will see you on the next one.